Listen to the birds and everything, guys. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful day. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. I'm Taffany, and I want to welcome you into my garden. This is Tika's Gardens. I hope you guys have had a wonderful summer so far. I have been enjoying mine. I am out early in the morning, and you will hear background noise because even though I'm out early, other people are too. They're out working already. I today want to talk about what I have learned in my first full year of gardening in my garden, or first full season, I guess you could say. Yeah, first full year of gardening in my garden. I've learned what the soil in the ground is in one area versus another, what plants are gonna do okay versus others. I got to experiment some last year, but this is my first full season, first full year of gardening in my garden, and it is for the most part completed. I've got the walkway down and everything. One thing I do want to say, after laying the gravel to finish this walkway, it seems like the mosquitoes have diminished greatly. When I first started trying to get the garden cleaned up to design it, and I had no clear design in my head. I just kind of did one thing, which made me say, oh, let's do this, and then let's do this. So it was a progression of ideas. I didn't start out with one big grand idea. But the mosquitoes were so bad because this yard held water like crazy, as I've mentioned many times. It would build up with water and flood back here in the bedroom garden and back behind the garage and what I call the courtyard garden. So putting gravel down there, I laid sod down in the back there and really got the grass nice and thick and healthy. And I put the gravel in that courtyard bedroom garden area and the courtyard garden area. Those were the first places I laid gravel, unsure of what I was going to do with the main walkway. And laying the gravel, doing compost and making the beds and planting and finding the drains helped tremendously with the water issues in the two parts of the yard that held lots of water. But one thing I've learned is, even though they're not building up with water like they used to, because they've been developed, so to speak, and the drains have been uncovered, they're still the most moist areas in the garden. So I've learned, what I can do and what I can't do as far as plantings are concerned. So this year was my experiment and trial year for the back and for the front. So I'm going to kind of walk around and show you what I've learned in different sections of the garden, show you some fails, show you what I now know I need to do for my next planting season and everything. So we're gonna start in the front garden first, and then we're gonna go to the courtyard garden. We're gonna do the front garden and the side garden, and then we'll do the courtyard garden, and we'll talk about it. So let's head to the front. Okay guys, so I have come outside of the garden, our back garden, and I am on the driveway, and I'm going to start with this bed. You will notice the sun patiens have kind of withered away, all of them. One thing I noticed is that the sun patiens did very good here and in the front garden up until 2 weeks ago. Then they started withering away, and fertilizing and watering did not seem to make a difference. Everything in here is doing good, but sun patiens for spring, yes. For midsummer over here, they don't seem to like it. And the thing that I need to fix over here is this sprinkler head right in there. It is pointing towards where I sit my trash can and recycle. So it is watering the trash can and recycling bins. So I need to have that head turned. So what did I learn? That the sun patients are going to do great here for the spring and early summer, but the heat over here is a little bit maybe much for it. I don't know what it is that did it. I'm guessing the heat and humidity. And I learned that I need to turn my sprinkler head because it is pointing towards the trash cans. And you will notice that this onion is getting ready to start blooming. It has its first little white bloom there. So that is that bed. Over here, this end of the bed has to be watered by hand because the sprinkler doesn't reach all of the way over here. So we're going to have to work on that sprinkler head to see if we can get them to extend it out to spray all of the way to the end here. This empty spot here, other than the weeds growing, I need to pull out. I'm going to put a shrub here that is a tall shrub, something that gets tall but kind of linear. The hydrangeas are doing great. The lantanas this year are not blooming strongly. And I noticed that with my neighbor's yard as well. So it's not just me. They're slow growing, and usually by June they're full of blooms, and they're like that throughout the whole season. I don't know what's going on this year, but like I said, I noticed that with my neighbors as well. So lantanas are not giving us a lot, which you also probably noticed. Let me swing around here. In this bed as well, these lantanas are not blooming that well. And also in the backyard, you've noticed with the lantanas. So I don't really know what's going on. We've got a couple right there, but usually they're full of blooms. All right, so let's come on over here. This was the clearance Jubilation Gardenia. One of you guys wrote to me saying that you planted them and they did not do well for you. They all died out. And this one was a clearance one where the back was already kind of dead, and I had to prune the back, but I'm gonna replace it. I'm gonna try a gardenia here. If it's not Jubilation, it will be another one. The reason I want to do a gardenia, I want to do something that smells good, but I also want it to be evergreen. You can see that lantana small, it should be big. These sun patients over here, other than the one right here, are doing good. So they seem to like it over here. And I love the white. This Encore azalea is pink. And it's supposed to grow like about 3 feet tall and wide or so. It's got buds on it, and we'll see how it does. If I'm not happy with it, because it's been small like that since I got it, which has been a year. And it was in another location. It has been transplanted, I get that, but I would expect it to be bigger than this by now. But if it does not grow bigger, I will put maybe another azalea, but maybe a white azalea there, or a gardenia. I really like shrubs that have a scent, flowers and things like that. These are the boxwoods. I can't remember which kind, but they grow more linear than wide. Again, here is another lantana. I don't know what's up with the lantanas. And this empty spot is where I'm going to put a second linear shrub, something with a little height. It doesn't have to be skinny, but you know, it will have height on it. This was open yesterday, full of buds. They are so pretty. So this particular daylily is coming out. And I have this Italian cypress here, which is really starting to grow. What I plan to do with this is do shrubs around it, low growing shrubs, either boxwoods or hollies, or maybe the dwarf euonymus. But I want shrubs around it, and then lining the outer part of this bed to flow over the rocks are going to be Superbenas. So this area has been cleared out so that I can plant the shrubs. So let's come around here. We can see that the agapanthus are done. We've got the lime colored coleus doing great. The shrubs are doing great. But last year I planted coleus. You can see some of the ones from last year came back up from seedlings. You can still see even more seedlings down in here. And yes, I know there's weeds. Here's some more seedlings over here. I'm just letting the seedlings come up, but I am going to get in there and pull weeds. But as you can see, last year, you know, they grew. They were nice and big and really rich in color and filled up this area well. They're kind of skinny and scrawny, but they are growing. I'm going to cut off the flowers so I can see if I can get more leaves on them, but I've trimmed the flowers off once before and nothing. But the greens are doing great, so maybe I need to stick with the greens for next year. Here is what I want to show you. You notice that all the New Guinea impatiens, 2 weeks ago is when I started having issues with my impatiens, all of them that I've had issues with. They are gone. We know that New Guinea impatiens like shade, and this area we had the tree above us, the branches trimmed off of the house, which gave a little more sun to this area, but I wasn't sure how much sun it was going to give. And like I said, this is my first full year of planting in the house, and so this gets more sun than anticipated. So this side did not survive. So next year I'm going to do sun patiens here. So again, like I said, I'm learning. The lilies and grasses are just fine. As we come over here, lilies and grasses are doing great. And again, the green has done fabulous. And as you look, the New Guineas are doing great over here because this is complete shade over here. Mostly in this spot it is complete shade, so they like it here. And one thing, if I can get a shot, there is a cardinal's nest in this shrub. I won't be pruning this until it's done. Oh, she's not there now. She was sitting in the nest, but I don't know if you can see it, and I can hear little chirping when I'm in the office here. So there are babies in there. I haven't seen them, but I don't want to get closer. So the shrub is going to have to look wild until the babies are and the mom are gone. Okay, so again, this section I can do New Guineas. It gets enough shade. This tree is like a year old, and it has grown like crazy. Well, it's a shrub. It's a sunshine ligustrum. Over here, this coleus is struggling, but the Superbenas are fantastic. So I will have to find something else to back the Superbenas with. And we're finally starting to get some growth on the Italian cypress. Up, the mama cardinal just went over to my neighbor's house. I guess she wants me to get away from her nest. She must have gone away to get food. So over here, last year when I planted the red coleus here, they grew so tall. When you got to the corner of our street to turn onto the street to come home, you could see the rich red burgundy from the corner. It was so pretty. But this year they are stunted, and I don't know why. And as you can see, all of the lantanas are not blooming, but there are some buds. The begonias, I tried begonias last year. They didn't do so hot. I thought I'd give it one more try, and again, not so hot. Those are looking good. These not so much. The azalea is doing good over here. The begonias are doing good here. And this azalea is struggling a little bit, and I don't know why, but it is hanging in there. So I've got a couple of spots where the begonias did good, a couple of spots where they did bad. But the coleus, as you can see all around, look horrible. They are not giving that rich red color. They didn't grow tall. This one is struggling, and I don't know why. But they still have azaleas at the garden center that are on clearance from the, earlier in the season. So the begonias here, again, the coleus, I don't know why they did this year. They did so good last year. I was so confident with them this year. So that turned out to be a dud for me. This one doesn't look bad. But as you can see, all of the lantana, nothing is blooming. So I don't know what that is about. So we're going to be planting up this corner. As I said, we're going to do shrubs at the base of the Italian cypress with sucurbinas along the outer edge. So let's head to the backyard and let's talk about some things I learned for that part of the garden. Hopefully the mama cardinal can now get back to her nest. This fence, I think, needs some oil. All right. Someone is in the window yelling at me. So let's let her out. Come here, Tika. Yeah. Yeah. Tika. Hi, say hello. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we've been experimenting with the pots. What I have learned, get the mulch down in the front and the back as soon as you pull your weeds so that you can diminish your weed growth. Nothing's going to eliminate weeds, but it will diminish it, because all the areas that I mulch, other than here, because this has grown quite a bit and I need to get in here and work this edge, has been pretty much weed diminished. I won't say weed free, but weed diminished. So I learned this season how to address my drains. Just get the gravel around the drains. We had a little rain. The mulch from here slid along the back and down into the drain, so I have to clear it out. But keep my drains clear. Same here, have to clear it out. But otherwise, everything is great back here. We've really addressed a lot of the issues. It does still stay moist, so things that I plant, I have to make sure it can take a little bit more moisture than other parts of the garden. Look how bad the weeds have gotten here, because I still have not gotten out to pull them. I just have not had the energy, but I'm getting there. I'm back almost. This sprinkler head here is a humdinger of a head. It has a very high water pressure, so I learned to just not put any plants here along this edge unless they can take a beating. So that's what I've done until I can get that sprinkler head addressed. Back here, it's just, the key is just, like I said, most places, just getting the mulch down after you weed. But there aren't any major issues in this part of the yard. And Tika is chewing on my grass. All right, let's head into the courtyard garden. because this was the other trouble area. So this area also stays moist as well. So again, like I said, keep your drains, keep gravel around them, just keep them clear. Keep the gravel, you know, down, and keep the area mulched, that help, and plant it up, and that helps to absorb a lot of the water. This circle bed, I bought those begonias, if you can remember, on clearance, and you see the majority of them are gone because this area stays pretty moist. They did not handle it well because, as you know, they're more like succulents. So I know now that I need to plant whatever annual here I plant. It has to be able to take wet soil that kind of holds moisture for a while. So yeah, I've got a couple begonias, like 3 sticking up, all the rest are gone. So that's what I've learned. This area back here is a very moist area, so I have got to make sure that whatever I plant can tolerate the moisture. But as you notice from the pattern here with the water, you can see the sprinkler does not water this end section. So until I get my sprinklers addressed, I'm going to have to keep in mind to plant, and this back part here would be covered if the pot wasn't there. So I'm going to move that pot so I can make sure that this part gets watered, but it doesn't reach here. So I have to make sure that what I plant on that side and here can grow without being watered regularly. It's going to have to take more of a drier condition. So the middle part, very moist. The back part, very dry. So that is what I've learned about the conditions in my garden, which will help me to be able to choose better when I plant, and better pot placement as well, because while it's a good idea to put a pot there, until, like I said, until the sprinkler issue is addressed back here and everything is getting watered, I need to make sure that that is not there blocking whatever I plant on that other bed. So look at taking this view. Look at how nice and lush this has become. Oh my gosh, just standing here under the arbor in the courtyard garden, looking out at the long border. This is so pretty. I know I gotta get weeds. Like I said, guys, I've been down, I'm up. So I am going to get to all of that. Have patience, have some mercy as you're looking at these videos and you see the weeds. They're driving me crazy. I'm sure they're driving you crazy too. But yeah, I need to pick some vegetables and things like that. I'm excited to be back out in the garden. But those are things that I learned about my garden. The bedroom garden and the courtyard garden are high moisture gardens, so I have to plant things that can take the extra moisture. The back part of the courtyard garden is very dry, so I have to plant something there that can take the dryness. The front garden, one side is one section is full shade. The tip corner of it near my neighbor's driveway is part shade, and the side near our driveway is part shade with a little bit more sun. So I've got pockets of sun and pockets of shade up there that I'm going to have to make sure I plant accordingly. Listen to the birds and everything, guys. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful day. All right, guys, well, that is it. That is a walk around the garden, taking a look at everything from the front and the back of things that I've learned about the garden, things I need to address, the planting conditions, more moist areas versus drier areas, exactly how much sun is in some sections versus others, and realizing that the front is full shade here, part sun, full sun, part sun, full is the front is just a menagerie of different shade conditions all in a small section. So overall, yes, you would say that it is shade to part shade, but there are definitely pockets on the ends of both of those beds, those long beds along the foundation, that are full sun, you know, each one that is near the end of the driveways. So that is what I've learned this season. It's, you know, been my first full season of planting in the garden, and guys, it has been so much fun getting the gravel down, getting the beds, you know, designed and laid out and planted, and slowly evolving the process and thoughts into what it, you know, has turned out to be. So I've learned. I now know. I've been watching the sun as it comes up, which parts get more sun, less sun here in the backyard, in the front, all that stuff like that. So I am in a better place for being able to plant. So when I do some fall planting, I'll know what to do up front. And of course, next season, I will do much better because I now know mostly where the sun is, where the shade is, which plants can tolerate the courtyard garden, since a good chunk of it is still, you know, somewhat moist. Even though it doesn't hold water, it's still a moist area. It's the same with the bedroom garden, although the courtyard garden is even more so moist. So like I said, there's just so much that I've learned. I could go on and on and on, but that is the key, guys. Walk around your garden every day, pay attention to the sun. You know, when you're sitting in the house eating or working in the mornings, when you get up, see where the sun comes up, what it hits first, where the sun lingers the longest, you know, where the soil holds the most water, so you can know what you can plant in areas and what you can't. And you know, unfortunately, you know, outside of watching and planting, you're just not gonna know until you do it. So I've learned, and I'm excited for next season, but I still have this season to continue doing planting and stuff. Luckily, being here in the in Spring, Texas, which is the Houston area, north of Houston actually, I get longer planting seasons than other parts of the country. So, you know, for me, I know they say you shouldn't plant in the heat. I'm just gonna do what I want to do because life is too short not to. So that's just me and my attitude about things. So I'm gonna plant. If it works, that's wonderful. If it doesn't, I buy a lot of clearance stuff, so I'll go get something else on clearance when I have the money. So guys, anyway, thank you so much for being in the garden with me today. I enjoyed walking around and sharing with you what I've learned over my first year of gardening. Make sure you follow, subscribe, like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.